What's up, guys? Today we're talking about Overwatch 2 and their decision to go back to 6v6, or at least what seems like their decision to go back to 6v6. There's a lot of stuff still in the air, but it seems like there's a lot of indications that they really want to revert some of the changes that they've been making in the last 5 years. So I'm really excited to talk about this, so grab a seat and let's jump in with me. So first of all, who am I? Well, I'm somebody who's been playing Overwatch since the very beginning. I played Overwatch in the beta. I remember this forum post. I was logged in day 1 of the beta, and I was logged in that entire week, and it was probably the most fun I have ever had in a video game. I played it the entire week with my brother. I had such a good time. I couldn't wait to log back in the next day, and that couple of weeks in between the beta and the actual release, I remember it was one of the most antagonizing moments for me. I couldn't wait to come back to this game. And it really was something special. I remember how cool it was that we had Jeff Kaplan, that we had all these different developers that were so open to talking to us, a lot of the different dev blogs. All of that was just game development done right, and I was so excited to be a part of that. And I'm looking back on it, I feel just so blessed to actually have seen that and been part of it. So I played for about 4 years, I guess. I was a support main. I played Lucio mainly. DSP Stanky is my goat, and I played a lot of other characters. I also played with my brother Keo, who got rank 1 Pharah on the same server and at the same time, so we queued together a lot, and we actually had our own amateur team too that we did. It was a lot of fun, and I look back on that time very fondly. It was a good time. So I tried to pull up my stats, but you can't actually go back anymore to see your stats for Overwatch 1, which sucks, but you'll just have to take my word for it. I was like grandmaster in that rank, and yeah, so I think I have an idea of what Overwatch is supposed to look like, at least, and I really don't recognize the game that it is anymore. It's really changed a lot, and so that's why I'm so excited to talk about what's today, which it seems like they kind of understand that maybe they've lost the plot a bit and they want to go back to some of their older stuff. So while a lot of the changes that they've made have really taken Overwatch in a different direction, I think for me, honestly, this was the day that Overwatch really died for me, which was 2019 when they introduced role queue. I understand what they wanted to do with role queue. I really do. I understand their whole idea for it. I understand what they wanted to do, like their ideas and all of that. I understand that wanted to reduce queue times. I understand that they had a huge problem with people not playing the role that they needed to play for the game, and I understand that a lot of people wanted to play DPS. I get that, but also this is a roles shooter. It's a hero shooter, meaning that you kind of need to be able to make choices on the fly. So in order to correct this and to make it into Overwatch again, you either need to do one of two things. You either need to take away role queue, which they're not going to do because they just did that. They just added it. Or 2, they need to extremely diversify each of these roles, which means that, like, you know, you need to turn Hog into a DPS and like make him fit different roles for different places, which doesn't really make sense. And it kind of goes back onto the whole idea of what like a hero shooter does. If you are playing a map and you're losing, like changing your team comp is the whole point of the game. And so to take that piece of the game away, that's like a critical piece of the game. I understand that they've been trying to do different things with taking out 6v6 after this, going to 5v5, they're trying to get back that feeling, but this is the problem. So I'm hoping that the next time that they get here, or the next change that they make, it's not getting rid of 6v6, or it's not getting rid of 5v5, but it's going back on role queue and going back to open queue. So yeah, today I want to talk about this blog. This is the blog that they just announced. Is Overwatch 2 is going back. It's just opening the conversation on 5v5 and 6v6. It looks like 6v6 is going to be open on the beta here soon, so I encourage you to check it out. I definitely will be. Trying to see if it actually is bringing back some of the old Overwatch. I really do think that with a lot of the difficulties that Blizzard has had in the last, I don't know how long it's been, but they really have had some hardships in terms of their development staff and a lot of other things. But I'm hoping that they're going to be able to kind of resume the plot with what Overwatch was and it is and the game that it still can be. I mean, Jeff Kaplan had like these ideas that were great about like retiring heroes. That still hasn't happened yet. We still haven't seen a single hero retired yet. And why? It's because well maybe somebody might not like it, and like I understand that, but also maybe you got to make some decisions that could kind of, you know, change some stuff up a bit. And sometimes you have to make decisions that are unpopular with people that like are still fun, and they end up being fun anyway, you know? So it's a tight line to walk. I don't envy a lot of the decisions that they have to make in general, but regardless, I think that they're at least going the right direction with Overwatch 2 in bringing back 6v6, or at least opening the door for it. So yeah, of course, yeah, this is a lot of people are definitely going to be commenting on this. Historical context is talking a lot about what I just talked about. There have been 3 large format changes to Overwatch, and the first happened shortly after the game launched. Hero limits. Before there could be any number in a particular hero on one team. So this actually wasn't that big of a deal. This was fine. I really do think that this change actually made Overwatch a really good hero shooter. Like changing it from being 6 Genjis, like I remember that. It wasn't fun. Like it wasn't interesting. Having 2 Genjis didn't make any sense even. It wasn't like that great of a thing. But also we have to remember that Overwatch isn't League of Legends, right? So like you shouldn't ever have to feel like you're in a place where you could pick or ban heroes. That's just weird and just doesn't work like that. So yeah, I remember this. The original winner of Team 4's first internal tournament was 1 Winston and 5 Zenyatas, and so they just let Winston dive, and they all threw his balls on him, and he just wrecked everybody. It was really funny. I'm glad that they made those changes, but yeah, it needed to be changed for sure. That change, I think, was the right thing, and that was still with the development team that I think they had the plot. They understood what they were doing. And this isn't to like disparage a lot of the developers that are, you know, they're doing good now, I think. But this is just to kind of say that I think that, you know, these are the things that they need to change. Second large change was from open queue to roll queue. We already talked about that. This is the moment it died. 2018, right? 2018. Yeah, 2019. So I'm really hoping that the switch from 5v5 will eventually with this in mind, going through this whole thing, I really think that because they're mentioning these different historical contexts, they have this vision in mind. They are saying, hey, let's think about what we've been doing. Let's try to do it better. Maybe let's go back on some of the things that we've been doing, and let's see if we can make it better next time. So, yeah. They kind of go into why they switched into 5v5. Again, I don't really necessarily agree with a lot of the decisions that they made, but at this point, without open queue, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. It's not the same game. They really need to go back to that. So 6v6 is again a great step, but and I understand kind of that it fixed some things for the maps and some other things that they wanted to fix, reduced queue times in general, but yeah, so they give you some charts and stuff like that. I mean, this is all great, but numbers can really, I mean, I'm a huge advocate for like, you have to go into the thing and you really need to understand it yourself. You can't just throw numbers at somebody and expect it to do something. So these numbers are great, but also like, what is the reality, you know? So thoughts on 6v6, the game started its life with 6 players on each team. Okay, so things like this, when they're saying things like this, the game started its life with 6 players on each team. It means that internally they at least have in their minds, hey, what made Overwatch so good, and why is it not like this right now? So they don't have quite that same chaotic, over-the-top feeling to them. Why not, right? Why not? And what are they trying to do? They're trying to reignite this. I think that's a really good thing. So with that said, we're looking to running a series of events to try out different core team composition formats in Overwatch 2. This is what we're looking for, and this is what we want. So I'm really excited for this. Again, this whole blog post is really worth a read. If you ever do want to check it out, please go do it. But yeah, check it out. I'm really excited to see where this is going to go. I will definitely be jumping back in, especially if they go back to open queue. Please, Blizzard, go back to open queue, or at least give us the option to open queue in competitive format again. That would be fantastic, and I would love that. And maybe just see if other people would like it too. So if you are on the same thought process and you think that I'm right about this, leave a comment. If you think that I'm wrong, tell me why I'm an idiot, please. I love that, and I would love to hear from each and every one of you. So yeah, thanks guys. I'll see you next time.